Yes, I feel so sad. I want a little steam on my clothes. Maybe I can fix things up so they'll go. What's the matter, Daddy? Save your mama's soul. Drop some sugar in my bowl. Oh, I ain't fooling.
So one of the mommies of like people like Erica Badu, Lauryn Hill, one of the mommies of that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about Chaka Khan?
I was hoping you would. Okay, thank
Can we
you.
go there?
Yes, please.
Chaka Khan. I think she's like my number one. She started with a band called Rufus. She didn't start as a solo artist. She started with Rufus. That band was from like 73 to 78, I think, and then in the 80s she had a solo career. One of my favorite songs that she sings is "Tell Me Something Good," which is from the band Rufus. And then as a solo artist, I think it was already when she was a solo artist, "Ain't Nobody." That's like my all-time favorite Chaka Khan song. So which one do you want to hear?
Oh man, that's like between those two. I love "Ain't Nobody."
Okay, let's play it.
Okay.
That's the way it was. It happened so naturally. Didn't I know it was love? The next thing I got was you holding me close. What was I gonna do? I let myself go. And now we fly through the stars. But this night will last forever. I've been waiting for you. It's been so long. I knew just what I would do when I heard your song. Fill my heart with this and the freedom. You knew I could not resist. I needed someone. And now we're flying through the stars. I hope this night lasts forever. Ain't nobody loves me better than makes me happy, makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better.
I mean, who thinks of doing that note right before she drops into the next verse?
Monica, there are very few people that I would trust covering Chaka Khan, but Mary J. Blige actually does a really solid version of this song. So we thought we would play just a little snippet of the Mary J. Blige cover, because if you can put Chaka in anybody's hands, it's going to be Mary's hands. So,
and you can't put it into a lot of people's hands. So.
No.
Captured at first play, that's the way it was. Happened so naturally, I didn't know it was love.
But it's Mary, it's not.
That's you. Me close.
Super Mary.
What am I gonna do? I let myself go. Now we're flying through the stars. I hope this life lasts forever. you. It's been so long. I knew just what I would do when I heard your song. Fill my heart with your bliss. You gave me freedom. I knew I could not resist. I needed someone. And now we're flying through the stars. I hope this life lasts forever. Oh, 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 oh. Ain't nobody does me better, makes me happy, makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody does me better than you.
So the next one that I thought of, well, I kept going back and forth between like, do I talk about like the people who originally inspired me, or excuse me, the women who originally inspired me, or do I talk about me like as a kid? In which honestly, I have to put someone like
Madonna, Whitney Houston.
Right, exactly. And for me, I'm an opera singer. Like I have to put someone like Montserrat Caballé into that category because it was her recording of Carmen as a kid that really sparked like the love of opera and that style of music in my brain and like made me want to be a part of that world. But I feel like I want to talk about inspiration like over a lifetime, right? So like there's these different stages, and someone who's been really inspiring to me recently in the last like 5-6 years, I would say, is Xenia Rubinos, and she is amazing. Have you heard of her?
I have not.
She's one of those musicians that you can hear. She has like the technical kind of nerdy music brain, and then she also has just the like wildly creative Erykah Badu kind of side of just like then learn how it all works and then take it all apart and put it back together your own way. She like took over my world, my ears for a long time, and she did a show at the Soda Bar here in San Diego, over on El Cajon Boulevard, and there was like 15 of us in the audience, and then come to find out later that Zoe, the bassist in my band, was one of those people. We didn't know each other at the time, but we were both at that show. And like it was fire. Like live, she is fire. And it was like, I want to be on that level. Like I want to be in that club. She's like that artist that like I'm like, oh, I want to be cool like her. And I love what she does with her voice. I love the different sounds she uses. And I love the different textures she uses. But it's called Lonely Lover. And girl, you're about to get your whole life.
I just can't seem to stop the stars from falling. I just can't wrap my world around it. You count me out just like my lonely lover. You see, I've seen 1,000 miles just like this. Mommy just feel like she needs to breathe today.
Girl.
I'm a little bit mad at you that you hadn't like told me about her.
I think on some level I just assumed you like probably already knew about her, or I don't.
When did she come into your life?
Like I said, like sometime in the last like 5-6 years.
Bitch.
I know. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I can't answer that question.
When we hung out.
I plead the fifth. I can't answer that question without incriminating myself. I don't know. I guess it just never like. I mean, our musical night
all the time.
Huh?
Do you see why you shouldn't play Café Tacuba all the time when you come over?
I've only had like one Café Tacuba night at your house. I'm pretty sure.
Just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me. I don't think I can pass a like lie test on that one.
By the way, I just want to point out the fact that hanging out with us today is this cute little creature.
Aww.
I know. I love him.
Wait, I want to see it. Show it again. It's like so strange and marvelous at the same time.
You know what this reminds me of? I love this piece of art because it reminds me of a childhood thing that I used to do. My dad taught us that if you go in like right where the waves are crashing, like we used to go camping a lot on the beach in the summer for like 2 weeks at a time.
In Baja or where?
Yeah, in Colonet, which is like an hour and a half south of Ensenada.
Yeah.
And we used to go, my dad taught us to go fishing like just on the shore. And one of the main pieces of bait that we would use is this little creature that you can find. Like if you just dig like maybe 6 inches into the dirt, even here in San Diego, you can find them. Mm-hmm. There's these little like kind of cockroach. But anyways, I love this. I bought this at the front, Articultura, where my husband is the director of that gallery, and he had there was something there where she was selling her art, and that's where I met her. Her name is Leria del Mar. Her real name is Valeria Bueno, but you can find her on Instagram, Leria del Mar. She makes ceramic pieces, super cute. So anyways, this is my little friend hanging out today. So the grandmama, I mean, like if Chaka Khan is like the mommy of people like Lauryn Hill and Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, there's grandmamas, and one of those is Nina Simone. Can we go there? I feel like we could like have another show just on her, but Nina Simone. I think Nina Simone, Eunice Wayman. The other day you sent me something. What did you send me?
I sent you a really wonderful mix of Nina Simone and Lauryn Hill. And it's like, you can find it on YouTube. It's brilliant. They took these two women and made it sound like if they had actually genuinely like collaborated and created an album themselves together, using the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and then various Nina Simone tracks. They play an interview where Nina talks about how she had no intention of singing, but like there was some like a owner who was like, I'll pay you $90 a night if you sing. And she's like, I wasn't in a position to say no to money. I needed to pay rent. So I figured out how to sing. Yeah. Which is mind blowing because like she's an incredible singer. She's an incredible songstress.
And that's why she changed her name. I mean, she was offered this, but the person that offered her this said, you have to be your own accompaniment. So she's like, okay, well, I guess I can't just play the piano. I have to also sing because like I have to do a one woman show. And that's why she started singing. It's not like she really wanted to sing initially. Mm-hmm. She was a piano player. And that's why she came up with this name Nina Simone too, because she didn't want her family to know that she was like singing the devil's music.
Which one did you want to hear, Monica?
Sinner Man.
All right. So we're going to listen. We're going to actually approach this one a little bit differently and approach it from the middle of the song and work backwards or work or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes. So we can hear her piano playing.
Don't you know? No, 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 Don't you know I need you, Lord? Oh, that I need you. Don't you know that I need you?
Wait for it. God.
Right.
Okay.
At first.
If you are a vocalist, or if you're a vocalist, you need to know who Nina Simone is, and she needs to be in your school.
Yeah, there's one more before we throw names out there, because I think that's a good idea. There is one more person that I feel like I want to add in. And my mom always really liked folk music, which was not necessarily like my favorite style of music.
Mm-hmm.
There was like every now and then there was this voice that would like come through the speakers and just like grab me. And of course, Janis Joplin was one of those people. I remember my mom, like anytime my mom was going out on a date or like had something that she wanted to like feel like somebody for, like she put on Janis Joplin, and so I have that connotation.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's like getting ready music. And there were other people, like my mom loved Linda Ronstadt, and I still to this day I love Linda Ronstadt's voice, and like
Janis Joplin and Linda Ronstadt were in my childhood soundtrack for sure.
Right?
Yes.
And then another woman who's kind of a little bit more random, but like again, like her voice just spoke to me, and I remember hearing it come through the speakers and be like, what the hell is that? And who is that? And I want to be a part of it, because it was just this big kind of rich sound that just kind of enveloped me. And I felt like she was a big presence, and I knew from a young age that I was a big presence. And so to feel that and hear that in another woman was like, okay, maybe this is I belong. This is something I can be a part of. And her name is Judy Henske. Have you heard of her?
Mm-mm.
She is amazing. There's only one album that I really know about, High Flying Bird. But she was on the folk scene for a long time, and she did different albums, recorded with different artists. I just want to play this last track. This will actually be like the one white woman we're playing on this episode. It's called
Patsy Cline. I wanted to play. I mean, Patsy Cline. Can we talk about Patsy Cline and like Dolly Parton and the whole country movement?
Oh my God.
We can go there.
No, I mean, that's the thing, is like no matter what we do, like this, like literally this episode could be like a year long and we'd still be
That's why I think we should list off like just like honorable mentions
right,
that we're gonna talk about later.
Before we get to the honorable mentions though, I just want to play this one track. I think you'll really enjoy it. Judy Henske, and the track is called High Flying Bird, and there's just something really raw and like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think this track is going to speak to you too. I think you're going to really get into it.
There's a high flying bird way up in the sky.
Yeah.
And no wonder does he look down as he flies on by. And though he's riding on the air so easy in the sky, but Lord, look at me here. Oh, I'm rooted like a tree here. I got the sit down, can't cry. Oh Lord, I'm gonna now the sun comes along. Oh Lord, it lights up the day. And when he gets tired, he slides on over the way. Oh, it's easy.
So like a little secret fantasy that I've had is I think it would be awesome someday if like you and Francisco and I did like a cover of this.
Woo! Yes.
It's just, isn't it like just there's just something about that track. It's I just remember
I
hearing,
love it.
yeah,
I love her tone, the tone of
right?
her voice. Yes,
It's just this like
deep.
big, rich, deep. Like so many of the folk singers I couldn't relate to. Like I know Joni Mitchell is like a goddess to so many people, and I know that they love her, and I know that they love her voice. It never did anything for me. That kind of little girl voice that like a lot of women singers have has never been my bag. I just it's not done it for me.
Then why do you like me?
But you don't have that like
Well,
what
I have a pretty thin tone, and I've always admired and like longed for having like that deep tone in my voice, but I just don't have it.
But see, I admire your instrument. Like I love your voice, and more importantly, I love what you do with it. I love how you sing, and I love how your approach to music.
I actually appreciate both. There are some artists that I like that I do like that are like me, especially some contemporary ones. One that I can think of that my husband introduced me to is Aurora.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
I'll have to look her
Okay,
up.
well, we're not gonna talk about her right now, but
So,
so
should we wrap this up with like rapid fire of all the women we didn't listen to, but we feel like should be mentioned?
yeah, and even that won't be a complete list, but
No.
we can fire it off.
Okay.
You wanna go first?
Oh Lord. Okay. I'm gonna start with one. Deborah Voigt, opera singer, phenomenal.
Okay. Whitney Houston.
Oh.
Madonna. I mean, like she's undeniably one of my influences because as a kid I grew up listening to her, and like what I feel about her is like her adamant rebellion towards the Catholic Church is what I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
Went to a concert. The only concert that I've ever been to hers was like 5 years ago. I went to Vegas to see her, and she had like nuns that were also strippers, like pole dancing. What else do I have to say?
Right.
That's just like that was, her rebellion towards the Catholic Church and towards everything that the Catholic Church looks down upon towards gay people and women, and
Yeah.
that's what I respect and love about Madonna, is that she just spoke up about it her whole career and she didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
Who else?
Bjork. We didn't talk about
yeah.
Bjork at all.
Yeah, Bjork. Who else?
Beth Gibbons from Portishead. These are my contemporaries. Like I this whole show I went like back to my earlier influences and like up to the 90s, and I didn't talk about any of my contemporary influences, but Bjork, Beth Gibbons.
Even Beth Ditto of The Gossip. She's another one that has had a huge impact on me. Who else?
Alanis Morissette in the 90s.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. For sure.
What girl? Dolores from the Cranberries. Rest in peace.
Uh-huh.
She was an awesome voice. Joan Jett. Come on, rock and roll in the 80s was male dominated, and she just came in like, fuck you, I'm a woman, and I'm gonna dominate this shit too. Thank you, Joan Jett. Salt
We mentioned Dolly Parton. I think that's huge.
Patsy Cline. Blondie.
Yeah.
Billie Holiday. You mentioned Janis Joplin. Amy Winehouse. Rest in peace. I love you, baby. Karen Carpenter.
Oh, how funny. Yeah. I'm not that familiar with the Carpenters, but yeah. I really liked Andrea Cheveri from Los
Oh yes,
Aterciopelados
yes.
because
Love.
whereas you didn't, I did hit on like Spanish rock in high school, and that was like huge for me. And she was one of the few women, and I just remember being fascinated by her sound and by her aura and the fact that she was like existing, and like they were killing it in this like male dominated world, you know. So I've always really loved
Mercedes
her.
Sosa,
Celia Cruz.
Celia Cruz. My gosh, like we could go on and on. I think
I
people
don't-
want to go about their day.
Monica, it's been a pleasure.
Always, always a pleasure to hang out with you, baby.
And I think we've created a like incredible mixtape here.
Just a side note on like the whole mixtape thing. This show is called Mixtape Musings, and something that I forgot to mention the last time, when you started talking about like when we used to in the 80s put a tape in and like listen to the radio and wait for our song to come on and hit record on that tape thing. I just want to say I'm sorry, Mom, because I don't know how many tapes of hers that I ruined. Like she would make her tapes of her albums, and then I would steal those tapes, and I would make my own mixtapes. And then she would find them, and she would get so pissed. And sometimes it wasn't even music. Sometimes I would get those tapes and like record over them, and it would be like me talking to my stuffed animals in an interview that I did.
Like a radio show that you were creating.
Like a radio
yes,
show.
I did that too.
Sorry, Mommy.
Love you. Oh, yes. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Mixtape Musings, and we'll see you next time. If you have any other suggestions, ideas for episodes, music you'd like to go down the rabbit hole with us.
If we said anything wrong too, please correct us or add to what we said.
Yeah.
No means I feel like an authority over things that I said today. And so if people have something to add to it that I didn't say, please do so.
Yeah, no, I love like creating community, and let's extend that to the comment section and just sharing ideas. So thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.